Welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over another Mailprotector feature, updating and filtering rules and policies on your email account. We're going to use some simple sliders to impact how mail is filtered and delivered to your email account through Mailprotector. So the first thing you need to do is use the login link delivered to you by your service provider to log into Mailprotector. We went over that in another video. Once logged in, you'll be looking at your quarantine. To make changes to your account, you simply click the gear icon in the upper left-hand corner. From this screen, you can scroll down to view information about your spam tolerance settings. The first setting here of note is the spam tolerance setting, which will control what Mailprotector considers email that should go into your quarantine. By default, any email that scores a 200 or higher will be stored in your quarantine, and then you can also choose what it does with that email. The normal mode will put email that has a high score into your quarantine. You can also disable this entirely, which you'll see has moved it all the way up to 600. You can tag the email and deliver it, which means that any email that is considered spam will be delivered. You can also drag this slider down. So any email that it thinks is spam, but it isn't entirely sure, will be tagged in the subject line. You could also put it in the header of the email, which would make it invisible, but you could create rules in Outlook based on that. Would be delivered. You can go for a passive mode, which means that any email above 280 in this particular case would be stored in the quarantine, but any email below 220 is delivered as normal. Again, normal, where we started. Aggressive moves it down, and maximum security means that pretty much all email is stored in the quarantine. This is useful if you're getting actively attacked by some email spam. You can change these sliders yourself to come up with custom email quarantine setups. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and leave it at 200. Message review visibility controls the quality of messages that show up in the message review email. So you can change this number. Basically, anything above 400 is considered obvious junk and will not appear in your message review emails. You can still view those by going to your quarantine. However, when you receive mail from Mailprotector that says you have 16 new messages that were held since your last review, any messages that are above this score threshold will not show in this quarantine, so there could be many more. If you find that emails are not showing up in your message review, but should be, then you can potentially turn this up higher to allow more messages to appear in your quarantine. If you're getting messages that are obviously junk, then you can turn it lower to potentially filter some of these messages out. This message review visibility should always be higher than your spam tolerance. These next four sections here change some of the scoring that Mailprotector will give to emails. The most important one is here, promotions. Any advertisements, newsletters, other types of marketing email. If you are receiving a lot of this email and you don't wish to necessarily unsubscribe from all the email that's coming in and you prefer that it goes to your quarantine, you can turn this up. So promotions by default are scored with a score of 75, which means that if they don't have anything else that's adding to that score, then they will probably not end up in your spam. Since our spam tolerance is set to 200, if we wanted all marketing emails to go into our quarantine, we would turn this up to 210. That would force all promotional emails into our quarantine. These emails would still appear in our message review, and we would be able to review those as we need. We're going to go ahead and turn this back down. SPF soft fail, SPF hard fail. The default settings on these should be sufficient. Spoofed addresses is a complicated subject, probably beyond the scope of this video. However, we recommend just leaving it at 0. And that covers mail filtering. Hopefully this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.